We always encourage you to pick up your watches from our supporting partners if at all possible, and today's no exception. The review you're about to see for the No.1 F5 is available from several of our partners, including Banggood, China Vasion, haven't heard from them for a while, but they're still with us, and Geekbuy. These are the current sources that carry the F5, and check the show notes down below for links for buying and coupon discounts off the prices. Now here's today's review. Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. Boy, this one's really wrapped. It's an exciting day here. We definitely have something to unbox and take a look at. If you are a fan of No.1, well, they've outdone themselves again with an entirely new fitness device that not only is going to give us GPS, but a whole bunch more. Are you ready? We are looking at, where is it? There it is, the F5. The F5, please check the user's manual, looks like this. Wow, been bounced around on its trip over here. DT No.1. I'm so used to just calling him No.1. It's like a nickname. Hey, No.1. They're the DT No.1, and they've put out the F5, and this is it in the black with the gray and black band to it. And guess what? They also have it with a yellow and black band. Cool, huh? Yeah, I have a prototype here, which I really wasn't supposed to show you guys until the final came out. Been working with No.1 on this one. These things have got a lot of sensors in here, and you're going to see about all that. But first, let's get an idea of what's installed. No.1 F5 in green, gray, and red. We got two of them here that you're looking at with touch screen, side buttons, Bluetooth 4.2, and all those supported languages. Built-in GPS and independent GPS records, so it can capture your track and transfer it to your phone later. Of course, the heart rate, sport modes, and GPS works on those. A built-in sleep monitor, pedometer. It also will do real-time temperature with ambient temperature measurement in the watch. And the height measurement, well, that's your altitude. It can actually show you your altitude information too. Call alerts is normal. And a 0.95-inch 96 by 64 pixel screen with a 380 milliamp battery, giving you a month of standby time and at least a couple of days, 2-3 I think, with heavy GPS use. We'll have to find out as people test them and tell us all about them. What else comes in the box? We have a charging cable, and this is the new standard that's starting to show up for 2-pin magnetic coupled chargers. See that thing? It's got a battery or a metal strip on one side and then 2 spots on the other. Like that it goes. Yeah. Because we don't need 4 pins. We're not transferring data like you are on an Android phone. And in the very bottom, we've got a book. The great novel. All the different languages. Hopefully English is in the beginning for, wow, it smells fresh. This is like going to a bookstore. You remember the good old days you could go to a bookstore and just smell the books? Not so much anymore, but this one smells like that. Here's the QR codes you're going to want to scan to download your tethering app for Apple or Android, and the app itself is called H+, which you could just go over and download directly from the Play Store. You don't need to use the QR code. A bit about charging, information about the pedometer, heart rate monitoring. This is a thick book with big pictures and big words, not like those little 4-page fold-out things. So pretty easy to watch or to read. There's the business about the altitude. That's going to be fun, huh? Okay, now we get into the modes for walking, for running, and it's going to look for GPS on the running. You see that? Mountain climbing also involves GPS and is probably going to show you changes in altitude. Riding or biking. And then there's treadmill, which of course you don't need GPS for. And basketball. Wow, okay. Playing badminton. I wonder if that works for tennis as well. Football. Similar, but slightly different modes. And then there's all the different icons against all of the different sporting events that are supported. Sleep time, system settings. Wake on screen. Look at all those icons. All that stuff is built into this watch. Pretty fancy for a little fitness watch. Firmware upgrade, how that works. Wow, this is an amazing manual. Even warranty information. No.1 is one of the few companies that has some pretty good warranty support for their products, and it's right here in the manual. And that's it. All right. Come back here, you. We have a little cover on the screen that actually has their DT No.1. And, oh yeah, you see there's a difference or two between the production unit and the prototype. And it says Smartwatch on this one and Sport up here. And it turns out, I think we're going to find that that's a button. I know it was on this one. So let's get this thing charged up and turn it on. Run it through its paces. Oh yeah, look. We've got a little cover over the heart rate monitor, too. Philosophy, folks, philosophy. What's philosophy? You never took that in school. Well, they don't teach the kind of philosophy you need for the watch in school. But let me tell you, this watch has philosophy. That means it's got a way of working, and you need to understand the philosophy behind this watch, or you're not going to get anywhere. Believe me, you'll tear your hair out. So you definitely want to watch this part of the video if you're going to get yourself an F5. They've got 3 buttons on here right now. There's one here, obviously, one here, and there's one on the screen right on the top where it says Sport. And they work like this. When you touch the top button, it takes you into the first row of menu items, and as you touch it again, it's going to walk you through those just as if you were swiping. You see that? One by one, it's going to go through those. When you land on one of them and you want to go deeper, you hit the top right button. There's the current ambient temperature as measured by the watch. If there's anything more, you hit it again and it'll go there. If there's not, it won't go there. If you hit this one, you go and see a chart. And so it's going back and forth between moving through things in a menu sense and going deeper into them with the right button, and then going deeper from that level with this top button. You getting the philosophy? There it cycles again. To get out of all of this stuff, you push the bottom button. That will go back one level. Press it again, it'll go back to the time. There is no touch sensitivity to the screen, except for that button at the top. And you got to touch it to go through each of the items. So we just saw a little bit about temperature. How about this one, which is barometric pressure? You press it to go into it. Pressing it again doesn't do anything. So you press the top button, and that gets you to the chart. That toggles back and forth between the item and the chart. That one doesn't do anything once you've gone into it, but that toggles it. And to get out of it, even if you're on this screen, you go back. And go again, or keep going forward to the next item, and so forth. That's the philosophy of operation. When you get into sport now, you press here, and you get into all the different sporting activities that this watch handles. You press it once more, and it goes into that first one. You press it, and you keep on going. We'll go through this in a minute. Back goes back one level. If you want to go to a different sport, you have to tap this, and it changes to white. Follow where the white one is. There's mountain climbing. If I want to go into mountain climbing, I'm there. You see that little icon blinking? That means I'm looking for GPS. When it turns solid, that means I've got a GPS lock, and then I can hit the button again and start. And now it's started, but I'm not going to get anything other than heart rate and time because it's not locked on GPS. Getting out of this is a real trick. If you press this, you saw the 1 and the 2, it made little markers. You have to press the top button to pause it, then the bottom button to choose if you want to save it or not. If you don't want to save it, you toggle back and forth here. You can throw it away, and you do that by pressing the top button. Oh my goodness. Now we want to get out of it. That should take us back. And back to the top. Totally confused? Great. Here's tools, and there's a lot more in there. So, I'm going to, now that you got the philosophy, let's actually walk through it and see what this watch can do. On the home screen, none of this is touchable, but you can see you have a heart rate, calories burned, steps taken, date and time, battery level, and time. And that's at full brightness. It has adjustable 3 levels of brightness that I don't see change very much. We're indoors. It's readable, but it is a rather dim screen. It's not like really blooming bright. It times out after a set number of seconds. Wow. Okay, I think I just got a notice in my camera phone. Sorry about that. It times out after the number of seconds you set from the tethered app that works with it, and I've got it set to its maximum of 30 seconds right now. It also supports the twist to open the screen. Thank you. And it'll go off really quickly when you just open it that way. But if you activate it, it should stay open for the whole time. Oh, no, it's staying open for the whole time. Okay, I thought it would just come on briefly and then go off. But I guess it honors what you've set as the timeout time, which is great. If you want it on for a long time, you can get it up to 30 seconds every time you twist your wrist. But that's going to eat away somewhat at your battery. All right, let's begin. We have the screen on either through the twist action, or you can't do it this way. You can't do, oh, you can do it that way. Okay, I was going to say you can't do it that way. Normally, you hit the upper right button. That takes you on. Hitting it again takes you to your first item. Hitting it again takes you into that first item where it's showing you your step count and calories burned and distance walked, and they're not lining up for some reason. It might be partly yesterday's data combined with today, because I haven't really put any steps on it, but it's showing some calories burned. You press it again, and nothing happens. And that's where you get frustrated. It's like, okay, why doesn't it go anywhere? Because you have to either go back or you have to hit the top button. Back will take you there. This will show you your graph of your step counts on Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday? I don't understand the lettering down there. It's Monday right now, but you have the graph. That takes you back to the sport mode. So, a quick check beyond looking at here of your step count. It does say 0 steps, but a lot of calories. A quick way to check it is press once, and there you go. Press that, and you're back again. You can touch that or press that to get again into here. You can't swipe, but you can touch it to go to the next level. When you go there, you're ready for the heart rate, but it's not taking it. You have to press the button for it to begin, and it monitors your heart rate. Okay, what I've noticed with the heart rate, if you have it like on your finger or on your arm, you're going to get a heart rate reading. But when I was driving around and testing out some of the other features, I had it off my arm and just sitting on my pants. And I was getting a really high heart rate, like I was exercising really heavy. So it will read thin air and other material if you don't have it connected, which is always bringing us to the question of, is this accurate or not? Notice I took my finger off and I'm still getting readings reading thin air. So was it really reading thin air all the time, or is this like, is that just numbers it's picking at random whether I'm touching it or not? Or is it actually reading my pulse when I'm really touching it? These are questions you guys are going to have to settle for yourself. If I get a chance to test these even deeper with the pulse rate, I will later. But for now, just be aware, this does not tell you there's an error when it's not reading pulse. To press this again doesn't do anything. To touch this takes us to a graph. There's the last 16 hours of heart rate because I have it set up to take a continuous heart rate. Pressing it again back to there, and from either of these, if you press that, you go back to that level. Press here, you go to the next thing, which is your messages. If you want to see them, you would press this button and you'll see your messages in there. If you don't, just tap and go ahead to the next thing, which is temperature. We saw that. I'm going to do a little temperature test here for you, and I'm going to stick it in here right now. Brrr. Now this is a cold watch. It's been in the refrigerator, which means our temperature should be really low, right? And it is. Look at that. 2 degrees. Are you seeing that? And there's the chart. Yeah. Okay. Guess what this is? A hairdryer. Aha. Let's warm this puppy up. 4 degrees already. 5. Whee, it's getting hot on my hand. All right. I think that shows you that it's an active working thermometer. It's just stuck in centigrade. I know. A lot of us love Fahrenheit, but we're going to learn. Remember, higher numbers are warmer. That's all you need to know about centigrade. And it's still warming up to ambient temperature, which is where it will sit when it finally settles down to the correct temperature. Okay, that was temperature. Now we touch this again. Come on. And we got the barometric pressure, and we showed you this, and we can show you the graph. And we can come out of it, and then we go here to altitude. And same thing, I can press here. Now watch this. I can press here, and it shows you altitude over the last 4 hours. This has just been sitting here in the house overnight. So the altitude change, I don't understand, but it hasn't been going up and down. I do that again, and I get to this icon, and if I press the top button, I reset the altitude to 0. So now if I'm going to start my climb or whatever, it will give me altitude based on this now being normalized as 0. Press that again, and wow, that doesn't look right. It's supposed to be 0. There's the graph. There's the reset. Oh, maybe I have to hit OK. There we go. All right. Philosophy. I'm still learning the philosophy this watch works with. Come back here. Oh, you want to see the altitude test? Okay. This is a Ziploc bag, and this is our watch, which we're going to go into altitude. And it's been zeroed. And I'm going to put the watch in the bag after opening it up really big. I saw this on a No.1 video, which is why I'm going to give it a try. Now, I'm going to seal it up with some air in it, and I'm going to press down, and look, you see it change? Then I stop, and it comes back. You see that? It really works. So there's an instrument in there that is actually measuring the barometric pressure, converting that then to a change in altitude. Yeah, fun. I'm pretty sure this does it on the barometric pressure as well. Let's cycle through that and test it. I'm not sure what you'd use barometric pressure for, but if you know, you're probably using it, and so this might be meaningful to you. So we're going to drop it in here, seal it up. Are you ready? Can you see it? Here we go. Oh, yeah, look at the pressure going up. It's also leaking in the bag, so it's not that solid. Seal the bag, but there you go. So the kPa of the ambient environment is what it's reading in the watch, and then you can mess around with that by either going up or down in height, or throwing it in a bag or something and squeezing it. I'm sure you've always wanted to squeeze a bag with your watch in it. Well, now you have a reason. So after altitude, we get to our sports. Now it gets complicated. I press once and I have the sports. I have to cycle to the sport I want using this button. Walking, running, hiking, cycling. Treadmill, backgammon or something. Another sport like tennis. This looks like running. Oh, soccer, I think that one is. And then it's back to the beginning again. Some of these use GPS, some of them don't. If I go into walking, I see a solid icon right there of a person. If I come back out of here and I go over here to running, I see a flashing icon of a person running. I hope you can see that. It's really dim. That's looking for GPS. In the walking one, it was going to give you your step count and calculate your distance and calories and everything just from the pedometer, my understanding. But when it's flashing, that means it's locking in for the GPS. If I go here to the hiking and I press, I've got a little green flashing icon now that would represent GPS looking. Of course, it's not going to lock because I'm indoors right now. And then you'd get your information from here. Let me just show you. If I start it, even though I'm not connected, now if I touch here, I can switch to different things. This is showing me something, maybe my change in altitude and the barometric pressure. If I touch here again, I'm getting step count and calories burned. Here I'm getting, it looks like a flag, so that might be a lap or something, and that looks like mileage or distance traveled. And tap it again, you get a graph of your heart rate in the different zones that you're in. It's saying that it's under 50% in the sedentary zone. Wow. That's giving us just, I don't know, to time, and it's flashing saying that it's looking for GPS. So I think you can go back to just this display for time, and then you can go back, cycle around again to go through all of those for hiking. There's similar type, oh yeah, you see I can't stop it there. I have to stop it here, then I have to press there, then I have to choose to save it, throw it away, or continue, and I do that by pressing here. Then I can press that and go back and go to the next sport, cycling, if I wanted to. Where, if I'm in cycling, still looking for GPS, but I start it anyway, I'm not going to get any data. If you're out cycling and you don't have GPS, you don't get data. However, I just wanted to show you when you're in here, you've got your speed and time. You've got your heart rate and calories. That's a checkered flag. That's your distance traveled. There's your chart again for your heart rate zones. Back to a clock. And back to the main screen showing your elapsed time for the sport. And hopefully your locked GPS. What do I got to do? I got to pause it or stop it. Then I've got to exit it. Then I've got to switch. If I don't want to save, well, you want me to save that one? Okay. Here's what happens when you save it. It just gets a circle around it, and it's saved it to the watch, which you could then transfer later. You still need to exit this by coming back to here and going on to any of the next sports, some of which have GPS, some of them don't. Clicking again gets us back to the main menu where I can tap and go to Tools. Inside of Tools, I have stuff for each of the sports. So if I look at the steps here, there's my history, 400 steps yesterday, burning 1,873 calories in walking 400 steps. I wish that were true. Really, I do. Here's another day. There's another day. So it's cycling through the information by date down at the bottom. When it gets to the end, it doesn't loop back. You got to hit the back button. If, while I'm on this screen, I touch here, I can go over and set my goal. Walking 10,000 steps, for example. And this is using the pedometer inside, not related to GPS. That'll get me out of here, out of here. That gets me to your actual walking. That was steps from the built-in pedometer. This is now from the sports section, where you have much more fine detailed data, all zeros, as you can see. And you can do different days by touching there, I presume. Come back out of here, go over there, press there, and you can set a goal, 5,000, I presume, steps for walking. And similarly, each of these sports have entries for running, climbing, cycling, treadmill. This is some sort of a lap thing that you can have it either that way or that way. And you can auto or manual. Not sure. And then here's your sedentary reminders, where you can come in to one or the other. Let's see. There, you turn it on or off and set how long you want between it notifying you to get up and move around. And you activate it from here. Back. Over. Start. And this is your start time and end time window, so it's not waking you up in the middle of the night to get up and exercise, right? And you can adjust those as well. Back, back. That's sedentary. Here's your sleep time. It tells you how well you slept last night, deep sleep and light sleep. I didn't wear it last night, so it's getting some interesting information. It looks like it's only one day as well. And neither of these buttons does anything other than bringing you out of it by pressing back. Okay, and we've gone back to all the different sports. Sleeping, heart rate. Now this is fun. When you go into heart rate, you can turn it on or off, of course. However, if you go into here, you can turn on an alarm if your heart rate exceeds a certain value. And it really does work, especially when I had it sitting on my pants and I was getting 136 and such. It was just beeping like crazy, like I was really, really working out. At least my pants were. Now, you can set it here, and then you would go down, off and on, and then that takes you down, and then you can change the value only in one direction, and then it will loop around again. And back, and back. And then, finally, you get to settings. Here you have access to GPS to turn it on or off manually. Here you have vibration on or off. And it's been vibrating this whole time as I'm holding it every time I press a button. You've got auto for your light. This is for turning your wrist and seeing the time. Alarm. You can set alarms when your heart rate, I guess, is 10. Okay. You have an alarm function of sorts. You have calendar. Oh, this is setting your date and time if you don't sync it to your app in the phone, which is highly recommended because it'll pick up the time automatically. Here's where we adjust the brightness now. See if you see it changing. There's level 1, level 2, level 3. Looks the same to me, but that's what that is. Here's where you set your gender and age and all the other options, height and weight. You can do these from the app as well and transfer them to the watch. You can reset the watch right there, and then you can get information about it. And that's what's on that one. And I don't think there's anything more. Hitting it again doesn't do anything, and you're stuck. Just remember the bottom button will generally take you out of it. One level at a time from tools. And we're back to the beginning. So, once again, from the time display, touching here or here, gets you into the swiping right mode where you have all these different options. And you're back, and back to time. Let's take a look at the app now. Well, to show you the tethering app, H+, I needed to get some data on the watch, so I've been out, walked a little bit, 3,000 steps. This is the information it gathered on the opening screen. Again, one press, two presses, takes you in here and shows you that same data, a little bit larger, that you see right down here at the bottom. So with that going on, let's open up H+ on the phone. It gives you an important notice about making sure you're tethered and that the app is running in the background if you want to have sustained connectivity to your manslaughter bracelet. When you get through that, you're landing into your home page. Sorry about all the crazy reflections we're getting. It's awkward lighting to try to keep that and that in balance. In the home page, you've got your goal percentage done out of the 8,000 that's been set, and your current steps, and there's the same information. When that data was collected throughout the day of the current day, and when you slide over here, you've got your sleep information. This says that I slept 1 hour and 55 minutes. I didn't wear the band last night, so somebody was snoring. I guess the elves getting ready for Christmas had it on. Didn't sleep very much either. 3 minutes awake, but 23 minutes of light sleep and almost 90 minutes of deep sleep. Yeah. And your heart rate. This is the continuous heart rate that it's been taking while I've been wearing it. And the last reading was 74. And that's what you get on your opening page. In terms of activity, this is where all the different events that you see that we could go into are tracked. And again, a few of them use GPS, and the ones that do give you a map. You click on that, it'll show your track on the map as accumulated from the GPS on the watch, not on your phone. So the built-in GPS module, you can have this thing out and do your workout without even having your phone, and then sync it later and get all of your information together with a map of where your route went. And different categories, biking and running and so forth. And by date and time that it happened, along with your basic mileage, energy, and duration. Calendar shows you information on the calendar by day. You can pick a particular day, like yesterday. I had 1 time of running for 18 minutes. I had 3 times of biking for 55 minutes. And that information is portrayed slightly on this graph because I haven't really done all that much. But you can get to it from the calendar, or you can slide through day by day this way. That's the calendar tab. Device, pretty self-explanatory. By the way, when you sync it, you're not looking for an F5. You're looking for a smart band underscore and some special number. At least that's what it came up on mine. When you're getting ready to tether, and it pretty much knows it's looking for that particular device. So if you have other devices, you don't have to filter through them, but just remember that's probably what you're going to sync to. You'll be connected. You can set a smart alarm clock, do the sedentary reminder, all the things we showed you here, you can do there. This is a screen save time. I'm going to up that to 30 seconds, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. There's notifications that you can turn on or off for SMS and all these other features, including other, where you go in and set permissions, and then you can have it send you notifications on the watch about whatever other apps you want to be notified for. Then there's your syncing data, which I'll do right now because I want to send that 30-second timeout over there. You can unbind yourself. That means disconnecting it. You can clear the bracelet data, and you can clear the app data if you want to start over fresh on the app. That's in the device. And then lastly, you can set your goals here for all of these things: hiking, swimming, walking, running, and biking. You saw each of those in those different tabs there. They're available on either location. Your sleep goal and your total step goal can be handled right here in the app. Your body mass calculation coming from your overall physical information that you put in, your age and your height and your weight, which is in here somewhere, right there. Odd numbers, I just left the defaults. Then it gives you your burning heart rate, which is nice. That's computed based on this information. So if you were to change from 42 to 22 and come back, did it change our burning rate? Hope so. Anyway, they're all integrated together. Firmware version of the band is listed there. Your device, your calendar, your overall activities, and your home. Okay, any questions? Good. Oh, and then there's this to show you too. Let's see, I think it's on device. Yeah. There's this row here of icons you can turn on and off if you want to be notified on the watch of an incoming call, or change your units from metric to English. You can turn on and off the all-day heart rate, or you can turn off the light screen, the twist your arm to see the time, right from that part of the app. You don't have to go hunting for it. Okay, now back to the watch itself. Why was it that I recommended you set the time of the screen timeout as long as possible, 30 seconds? It has to do with GPS acquisition. Here's a problem I ran into. If you get into the GPS area by going into tracking, either running or cycling, you have the flashing icon of the little guy. That is the watch attempting to acquire the GPS before it vibrates and tells you, I'm ready to go, and you can actually press the button and start accumulating data. The problem is it takes a long time in this watch to acquire GPS. Now, it's not going to happen indoors, so I'm running this out to show you my 30-second timeout that I put here, what exactly happens when it times out. There it is. So I have to push this button to turn it on, and look, it's right back at the watch face. So in order to get back into attempting a run, I have to hit 7 times here, 1 time here, 1 time here, or 3 times for cycling, hit it again, and wait out this thing acquiring GPS. If you have a timeout set for 5 seconds, 10, 15, it's going to go dead, go dark, and it's going to return to the home screen, and you're never going to be able to do a walk, a run, cycling, anything using GPS. If you start it right now, before it is locked in, my experience has been it doesn't lock in, and you have zeros for your data. Now, there could be a firmware update or something to fix that. Not sure what's going on, but it's a catch-22. You have to get GPS lock before you're going to get anything to actually work in the tracking mode for those elements that need GPS, like your pace and your speed and your distance and everything else. If, however, we stop this, we exit this, we throw it away, we exit out of here, and we go back to running, which I can only get to, walking, sorry. I have to go forward through all of the sports back to walking. Notice the guy now is solid. There is no GPS requirement, so if you're just going to be walking, you can start it right away before it times out, and it will gather your steps in your distance in step counts and number of steps and calories burned. It's a whole different system of getting the data when you're walking based on pedometer action as opposed to running based on GPS data. And whether the little icon is flashing or solid is an indicator of whether you're going to have success or not. So for me, there again, you have to stop it and then do that and then do that. No, you got to pause it and then do that. There we go. And then do that. And then throw it away. And then remember to hit that and that and that. Well, I just heard back from number 1 on this. It's tomorrow now, and I'm slipping this into the review before we close it up. It's a little bit about this whole GPS stuff, and it applies probably to a lot of watches. So in addition to this F5, you may want to listen to this part. Let's get ourselves over there to that section where we are playing with running that needs GPS. Again, if I don't touch it, it's going to time out and I have to start all over. But if I go ahead and touch it and it begins, it's still flashing to acquire GPS. But when the watch turns off, based on its timeout time, when it goes dark, it won't return back out of this mode to the opening screen. It'll stay here in this data accumulation as if you were actually doing your run. Now, everything is at 0. Only 2 things are changing. One is the heart rate, where my finger happens to be right on the the diode, I guess. So your heart rate and the time. So it's actually running now, and still, of course, trying to get GPS. Now, I'm indoors. It's not going to happen. But here's the trick about the GPS. If you set it all up and do this when you're about to do your run and you're outdoors, it will take from 1 to 6 minutes, they say, for it to acquire GPS the first time. After that, see, there it went off. Now watch, when I touch the button, it comes back here, not back to the opening screen, but you have to be in the actual running mode. So what I'm saying, you let it acquire GPS, the watch will vibrate. When it does, it's locked and it's solid and it's working. But your run is all screwed up, right? Because you've run off time already. Your pace will be off, everything. So you stop it, you throw it away, you exit it, you're back here on the same thing, and now you start it again. In about 10 seconds, it will acquire GPS. It won't take you 1 to 6 minutes. It should, for the next 2-hour window, you should be able to get GPS within about 10 to 15 seconds. So I still recommend in your app that you set your screen timeout as long as possible, at least 15 seconds or longer. When it vibrates and it acquires, boom, then you can go, boom, then your time is started right at the beginning of your run. GPS will be locked, everything else will be tracking properly, and you'll get yourself good data. And of course, at the end of the run, you stop it and you save it. And then you have data to transfer that's accurate. Okay, wow. Well, once again, the F5 is going to be available from a variety of sources, so check the show notes. Right now, I don't have any buying coupons or links from any of these guys. Hopefully when it's published, I will have at least a few. Banggood is carrying it right now. China Vision, another one of our partners, also has the F5, as does Geek Buying. So check what the best price is you can get with the coupons, and if you want this watch, using our links down below helps you, helps us, and helps them. You've been watching Smartwatch Ticks, a review of the DT No.1 F5 Sports Fitness Watch. Thanks for watching.